there guys, how's it going? Now there's a good chance that you don't recognise me because this is the first video I'm making for On The Bubble. You see, On The Bubble is trying to branch out and produce a lot of different content about different things in the Pokemon TCG, not just focusing on tournament play. And one of the things they wanted to branch out into was the collecting side of the trading card game, which is where I come in. Now, if any of you are active on some Pokemon forums, you may recognise me by my username, DJ Gigabyte. And I also make YouTube videos under that name myself too. And any of you who tuned into On The Bubble's live stream at the condo in Vancouver after Worlds, that was me commentating. But for those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name's Dan, and to be honest, I'm probably one of the most passionate people in the world about collecting Pokemon cards. And I like to pride myself on saying that I'm pretty knowledgeable on the whole subject. And I in fact own some of the world's rarest cards, including some of the cards for placing highly at the World Championships. I've also been friends with the guys from On The Bubble for a while now, so I'm really happy to be able to get involved, and to share with you some of my collecting knowledge, and to bring you some videos that are just a bit different. So let's talk about what sort of videos I'm going to do. The videos are hopefully going to be fairly informative on the collecting side of the TCG, but they're still going to be in a more casual style than the videos on my own channel, which are pretty rigid and pretty much all just focused on the facts. Because of this, I'd like to get you the viewers involved as well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys would have, whether you just want clarification on some points in collecting the TCG, or whether you'd quite like to just hear my opinions on some subjects. If you guys leave some questions down below in the comments, then the next video I do, I'm going to try and answer them all. I will also be just trying to update you guys on what's new in the world of collecting, whether there's any new cards or new errors that you should be on the lookout for, and kind of just talking about some new products. Which brings me on to what I'm going to do today. So today's actually my birthday, and this is a pretty special year because it's the first year that I've actually been able to convince family members that Pokemon cards are actually an okay gift for me, as in previous years they've just completely dismissed it. So that's how I've ended up with this cool new Sylveon box. And a Bon Jovi CD, because they weren't entirely convinced. So what I'm going to do, since this is just a pretty nice product, just something I've just got, we're going to dive into it, take a look, talk through some of the cards. Okay, so here we have the Sylveon box. As you can see, you get the new Sylveon promo, Fairy Energy, all the evolutions, some booster packs, and the figure. So let's open it up. Okay, so here's what everything looks like outside of the box. Lifting at the top, we can very carefully remove the Sylveon promo and the Fairy Energy, which are popped right in there. This is just a standard basic Fairy Energy. There's nothing special about it. They just included it because Sylveon obviously needs the Fairy Energy to attack. And it's really difficult to get Fairy Energy at the moment. I believe you can actually only get them in one of the X and Y starter decks at the moment. So there's those. Next we have this cool little Sylveon figure. There have been a lot of products recently which have released things like figures or the pin badges as well as the cards. And they just look really cool. It's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to try and get them all, but I enjoy having the ones that I do have. Next we move on to the evolutions. These are kind of badly packaged. I really dislike the way that they're kind of slotted into there. It actually makes them really hard to get out without either bending them or kind of just tearing the packaging to shreds. So it's going to take me a while, so I'll do that off camera. Okay, so there they all are. And finally we have 4 booster packs. We've got an X-Destinies, a Dragon Exalted, and 2 Legendary Treasures. But before I get on to those, I want to talk about the promos a little bit more, because that's kind of what makes this box interesting. Okay, so the first kind of interesting thing to note is that all of the evolutions and Eevee itself are actually numbered Black Star promos. They run from 87, so we have 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, and then finally we have XY04. So there are some interesting things about these. First of all, this is definitely the largest amount of numbered English promos that have ever been featured together in one product. I mean, I think before this, it may have actually been the Tornadus, Thundurus and Landorus box set, which just had the 3, because really the Black Star promos tend to just get released alone. Next, it's also the first time that promos from 2 different runs of promos have actually been released in the same product. What I mean by that is, most of the evolutions are from the Black and White promo series, and Sylveon is from X and Y. Sylveon, of course, just being an X and Y exclusive Pokemon, so it became one of the first promos for that series. And I just got to show you guys the origins of most of these promo cards. The Eevee and the evolutions except Sylveon were released in a special 8-card set that was released in the Pokemon Centers in Japan. This 9th card you could actually get to go along with the set, which is a reprint at Pokemon Center, and just looks really nice. but this is where the original promos came from. Also worth noting, only the Eevee is holographic, whereas in the English version, they're all holographic. So enough of me rambling on about promos, let's just get down to some good old-fashioned pack openings. First, we have our Next Destinies pack. Okay, we have a Shinx, very nice, a Pikachu, a Staryu, a Riolu, a Kricketot, a Reverse Heavy Ball, that's kind of cool, and a Holo Scrafty, nice, Hippowdon, Lampent, and Pokemon Center. I think from Next Destinies and Dragons Exalted, there wasn't really too much I was missing, but I don't actually have that much from Legendary Treasures. Okay, what we've got here? We've got a Slakoth, a Houndour, Gothita, a Baltoy, a Hoppip. Oh, it is the corrected Hoppip. Nice. Fun fact, most of the Hoppips were originally printed with Skiploom's flavor text, and the corrected ones are actually a lot harder to get a hold of than the errors. A Reverse Holo Lairon, a Shedinja, Tool Scrapper, pretty nice trainer, a Flaffy, and a Gothorita. So, best card in that pack, definitely the common Hoppip. Right, now we tear into Legendary Treasures. Legendary Treasures is, in my opinion, a really, really nice set. Stuff like the Radiant Collection, and even though there are a lot of reprints, it's amazing artwork. Okay, so you have a Misdreavus, a Gibble, a Ralts, a Woobat. Oh, nice, Holo Zapdos. A Rare Glade, a Superior, and a Teddy Ursa from Radiant Collection, and Servine and Gothorita. Okay, next pack. We got a Swablu, we got another Misdreavus, we have a Snivy, a Sawaddle, Reverse Minccino, a Tangrowth, oh something good, nice, real nice full art Reshiram. The full arts from Radiant Collection just look so cool. And then we have Ralts, Charmeleon, and Cedric Juniper. And so, there we go, we've well and truly torn into that Sylveon Collection box set. And so that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys would like to see me do more in the future. If you would, just pop that down in the comments, because it's always great to hear feedback from you guys, what you think I could maybe improve, and as well let the other guys at On The Bubble know that they have made the right decision by letting me do this. And of course, remember, any questions you might have about collecting the Pokemon TCG, just drop it down there in the comments, and I will do my best to answer it in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you again in the future.